So welcome guys to our main event for the night. A Masters game in Eternal Empire. 4.3k here versus 4.8. Gonna be an interesting one. And who knows how long this is gonna go. I do. And I am ready, raring to go for this upcoming map. Introducing first, here on the top right, it is the red Zerg that is GeoHenPH. And his opponents on the bottom left, gonna be the Brute Protoss, Barcode. Fortunately, we don't know who this Barcode is. 4.8k MMR, could be anyone, not the highest MMR per se, but it is a pretty respectable one. In the meantime, GeoHenPH finally making it to Masters, has a 4.3k MMR as of this replay, and really getting so much help from the community. If I remember correctly, one of our good friends, Extinct, setting him up for some scrims. I'm not sure if the rest of the community do help him out, potentially like SCPH Dash and the like. But hey, this kid has been working hard to get better and better with his play. We've seen him improve on the macro, we've seen him improve on the micro, and maybe decision making gonna be a big test for him into this one. So he does go for the pool first this time, looking to go for some aggression into this matchup. In the meantime, the Barcode getting in the way, puts a pylon onto the natural, and this will actually slow things down. GeoHen instead goes on over already to the third. Now, how will Barcode respond to this? Does he know that the Zerg actually went for that third base immediately? Seems like not gonna be the case. Already goes for the cancel though. Gonna be an open spot here for GN. If he just waited a little longer, he could have gotten that spot. But at the same time, Barcode is just buying time. 25 minerals for a slower rate at the start here for the Zerg. Might be worth it, says the Blue Protoss. Anyway though, seems like Barcode trying to play a little bit of the cheese proxy pylon here onto the corner, but will get spotted. Doesn't go for the cancel though. The Zerg is running on around, trying to get the surround onto the probe. And there you go, GeoHen looking to get in the way. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Probe going to get scouting information, sees that GeoHen is looking to build on up. Does he notice the Roach Warren? That's the real question. No, but these Roaches might be able to go for the surprise. An early burrow here for GeoHen, very interesting. I don't see this too often. Burrow is usually an upgrade that actually gets forgotten on the hatchery. More likely than not, you get the Carapace instead to allow these overlords to run around the map a lot quicker. And by run, I mean float on over like a balloon, drifting into the wind. Anyway, hatchery set on up onto the third. This is basically the second base here for GeoHen. In the meantime, Barcode playing it safe. Seems like he was expecting aggression there from GeoHen, just didn't happen. Set up an early floating cannon, went for the forge. And it looked like that could have been the start of a cheese. If Barcode was able to buy enough time and GeoHen decided to go for this hatchery, that could have been actually a cannon rush because he went for that early forge. Now by this point in time, it's Stargates actually here, meaning to fly up in Eternal Empire. And like we said before, there are a lot of spots here in Eternal Empire to work with on the Sky Toss route. Drops pretty effective as well, but by this point in time, it seems like Barcode gonna be committing to containing the air. And in the meantime, GeoHen running around the map looking to see what is in store for him. Now in this instance, he is going to go for the Spore Crawler pretty early. Does GeoHen know that the Stargates is going to be flying on in the first place? Seems like it's not the case, but he's already wary in terms of those timings. So going to be playing it safe. Proper approach actually here from GeoHen as the Phoenix is going to be moving on in. Spotted right now by the Overlord, and this just confirms it. GeoHen gonna be happy he went for the early Spore Crawlers into this one, protecting his lines as much as possible. It seems like GeoHen was expecting a little bit of proxy after the failed proxy pylon. The Stargates here on Eternal Empire nearby can actually put a big hamper on your economy lines. But with third base taken first instead of the natural, of course, it's a lot less defensible. Now for GeoHen, the task is at hand. First, defend his base. Second, to build a lot more of these overlords to just mitigate the losses from the Phoenixes. And the third is to connect these bases together. Creep Tumor is going to be essential, of course, to allow these queens to move around the map as quick as can be, provide anti-air capabilities. As more and more of these Phoenixes coming online, Graviton Beam right now, lifting that queen on up, and GeoHen not responding whatsoever. Now finally noticing the action. The Queen gonna get dropped on down. Transfusion to go for the top up. But will it be enough? That's the real question. There we go with the healing over time. Trying to keep the sustain on. But this Queen still alive, and one Phoenix goes down. One Queen for one Phoenix. Not the worst trade here for GeoHen. Gonna be happy about that. Slowing down the jet plane approach. And in the meantime, this Roaches here from GeoHen not really panning out to anything. So he went for Burrow really early. And I feel like GeoHen is looking to play a little cheeky with Dunning Claws. With Burrow and those Roaches able to move around the map, he can surprise his opponents with a killing blow out of nowhere. But we see him play the Roach Warren early before, and it hasn't really worked out really well for him to begin with. It seems like he is trying to get better and better with that, and he is gonna go for the ground-based approach instead. Hydra's then now gonna be into the field, a good mix of armored as well as light, just basically making sure that he has a little bit of both in the back. And what is that thing? I don't know if it's cute or not, but there's like a small little critter trying to go for the chomps inside the Roach Warren. And in the meantime, the Hydra then a pulsating. We are gonna guess the movement speed upgrade though for the Roaches, making them a little more effective anywhere around the map. In the meantime, still more and more Phoenixes here for Barcode. He's trying to just win it out from the stars. Graviton Beam so pesky as well on bulk. But GeoHen very prepared for this, really scouting out his opponents and having a little bit of clairvoyance on his side. GeoHen has no idea what the main base has, but I guess when he saw the Forge, he was expecting something a little different in the first place. Anyway though, Barcode right now running around the map with these Phoenixes. And I for one is a big fan of Phoenix Maestro. Like, it's so stylish. As the Queen now gonna get caught on over. Second Queen gonna be next casualty on the list. These Graviton Beams numbering into the many. And beautiful pickups here from Barcode so far. But I was trying to say, just how stylish these units are. You can move around while shooting, basically. Trying to go for the strafe action. It really feels like a proper dogfight with these Phoenixes all over the map. And the Graviton Beams even making it a little better. The thing about the Phoenix too is it feels a little bit nostalgic of Mutables, but for Protoss, and it's like it's a little ironic, a little bit of a taste of their own medicine perhaps. As the Hydras right now trying to go for the engagement, but there's way too many Phoenixes here that GeoHen can truly deal with. And this is looking really bad here for GeoHen. He's losing all the Queens that he's making. He only has 2 right now, not gonna be enough for any of these hatcheries. And these Hydras keep falling at the same time. Now, GeoHen does not want to engage on to the middle lines themselves because the Spore Crawlers will get free damage all throughout the engagement. Instead, though, every single time GeoHen sends something over, this is just not working out for him. It's clusters and clusters of units instead of one big bulk. And if GeoHen really wants to win this, he needs to make sure that these units can come together as one. Anyway, though, we are going to get an early +1 here from the Cybernetics Core. Meantime, Fleet Beacon actually set on up getting that upgrade there for the Phoenixes as well. If I remember correctly with my Phoenix upgrade, that is the range for these flyers to make sure that they can get the leash on a lot easier. It's from a lot safer to begin with. Yeah, it increases the Axiom Pulse Crystals. Increase range by 2. And Barcode right now looking to just deal with whatever GeoHen has in store in terms of the scouts. Still though, GeoHen finally given the reprieve. Barcode feeling very confident, looking to take the lead in that economy and the army tab, but with GeoHen bunching these Hydralisks together, maybe an opportunity for him to actually defend whatever he has. GeoHen feeling frisky, gonna go for the aggressive expansion. These Phoenixes just flying on over, spotting out all the creep beneath them. Happy not touching the filth that is the Zerg Swarm. As Barcode keeping everything together by this point in time. Zerglings right now gonna get caught, lifted on up. No scouting for you, says our blue Protoss. And in the meantime, what is gonna be next on the list? Carrier apparently gonna be arriving very soon. As support base gonna be into the field. GeoHen though gonna be taking some losses onto the middle line. Barcode feeling very confident with the number of units he has. And +2 onto the air. Gonna be the next play of the game here for Barcode. These Stargates just keeping on up with the production, and Mass Carrier is a scary sight to see. all the way back from StarCraft 1. And maybe nostalgia still is the name of the game today. Infestation Pit right here, right now. And GeoHen gonna be so effective if he can use any and all of those spellcasters into the upcoming fights. Infestors actually with the Shroud can be helpful to mitigate the damage. In the meantime, if he can get the steal on to one of those carriers, it's gonna be so effective as well to shut down whatever the Skythaw's fleet is gonna be looking to go for. But I feel like the Viper is truly the right choice here. Parasitic Bomb gonna be so effective onto these clusters on Phoenixes. In the meantime, Hydroblast now getting damage that needs to be done. And those Pines packing such a huge punch to begin with. The Hydroblast and Roaches apparently are going to be composition choice here for GeoHen. He's still staying on with the range ground units, but at the same time going for that Spire. So I feel like Hive Tech is going to be coming soon. He's just making sure that he has enough queens for production for anti-air before he moves into tier 3, because his Precipitation Tit is waiting at the wings. There you go, Hive now gonna be upgraded on. In the meantime, we are seeing more units actually here for Barcode. Not just Mass Carrier, not just Tempest, but it's gonna be the Mothership looking to fly in the sky. Beautiful game so far. The Golden Armada absolutely shining in the stars. And Barcode could be looking to apply pressure from above. In the meantime, here we go with Burrow. Oh, it actually didn't get upgraded. I thought it was. I feel like GeoHen with a misclick. And he went for the early Roaches, so it might have been the Tunneling Claws antics. But with the Skythaws coming his way, he went for the cancel, knew it wasn't going to help out anytime soon. Went everything though, all the way on to the most forward base here for GeoHen. I'll be weak to upgrade, moving on over to a 5th base. Now with the Common Storm, it's just fun to be able to talk about basically the history of Skythaws. Way back then, Mass Void Ray was really the name of the game. Phoenixes were a fun unit to use, but they weren't as effective as before. Right now they are pretty tanky actually, with 60 shield and 120 HP. And Mass Phoenix always, like I said before, a stylish maneuver. You have really good micro with your air units. You can do wonders with it. But unfortunately, there are pretty obvious weaknesses, of course, especially against these Spore Crawlers. Now, it seems like Barcode is going to be sacrificing a few of these Phoenixes to get a little more supply on to the bigger capital ships. Carriers and Tempest still coming our way. And the real question is, does GeoHen know that that is coming?
Still in the game?
Sees all those targets already. Mothership hiding all the way here onto the south side. But here comes the fight. GeoHen gonna be bringing everything he has in terms of the ground game, but sees those cloaked units coming his way, and it's time to get out of dodge as the Mothership imposing. Wow, the Mothership just gets in the face of the adversity. The carrier is sending in those invisible interceptors. And GeoHen has to react, and he has to react right now. Parasites gonna be the name of the game here. Infestors actually gonna be used up into this game. And there you go, hiding down below. In the meantime, Overseers gonna be looking to morph on it, especially needs them against those cloaked units. And with Burrow into the field right now, GeoHen gonna be looking to find a way to get those parasites on. The problem actually here for Barcode, he doesn't have a robo facility whatsoever. So no observer is gonna spot that out. And I feel like GeoHen could have capitalized on that opening a lot earlier into this game. By the way, here comes Barcode right now, expanding on over to the low ground. A lot of pylons and photon cannons being scattered, just using up those minerals to begin with to make it a little safer to find a staging ground here. It's basically a refueling pod slash a forward base for Barcode right now to use. It'd be a good way to find the retreats. But by this point in time, here comes the Phoenixes catching the catch on to these Roaches. In the meantime though, Mothership now moving on forward. Big bulk here from GeoHen. We are getting into later stages of the game, quite early into this one. 40 minutes on in. Maybe looking to last as long as possible. It really depends though how these engages go. I feel like Barcode has a lot to lose if he loses everything on an attack. GeoHen in the meantime, unfortunately for him, he doesn't have much minerals and gas in the bank to go for multiple cycles. So for both sides, this is a risky affair. Of course for Barcode though, he is gonna be looking a lot more sustainable with these units staying alive alongside anything else. for GeoHen right now. He's backing on Daks, trying to bait everything into the infestors. And here they come. Unfortunately, here for GeoHen, he cannot yoink that mothership anymore. It's a heroic eunuch. Instead, gonna be going for those carriers instead. Brawl happening onto the field right here, right now. It's gonna be Tentacles reaching on in. Hydralisk trying to get the damage that needs to be done. And here comes the thunder. Time Warp, though, courtesy of the mothership, looking to get out of dodge. And apparently, GeoHen gonna be able to basically stem the bleeding, stopping all of this. Unfortunately for him though, it's just not enough damage yoinking those carriers. And without those interceptors, that's just not going to be any damage there. Interesting enough, Barcode still rallies on in with 2 of these carriers. They will fall momentarily. And both sides suffering casualties, suffering losses. But in the end, nothing substantial whatsoever. Now the problem here for both sides, if this keeps up, this really will just be the name of the game. GeoHen, his objective is to get the yoinks onto the carriers. For Barcodes, it's pretty simple. Take care of the Overseer, and that is just gonna be it. But for GeoHen, he has to make sure that he is playing on his own turf. These Spore Crawlers are a good idea already, looking to creep on over. Shades apart of the Swarm, just looking to creep on in. Those Spore Crawlers are everywhere. Swarm Host, not gonna be anyhow effective. I feel like I said, the Viper, gonna be a good way to shut things down. Since GeoHen is playing many Hydralisks already, he did go for the Lurker then. And if he does go for the Viper, get the Abduct onto the Mothership, apparently it did die actually. But if he goes for the Mothership, gets the Abduct on, we'll have a lot of opportunities to deal with the air instead after the focus fire onto the big old ship. GeoHen right now just keeping on up with all of this. And this is what really impresses me as a player, when you can keep up with the late game. In the late game, there are a lot more things to do, a lot more things to keep an eye out on. In the early game, the micro is pretty much the focus, as well as looking to build on over with that macro. But here in the late game, if you're gonna really try to keep everything stable, there's just so many fields, there's so many vantage points to check out to begin with. Anyway, we are seeing the spine composition here. Queens, Lurkers, Hydralisks, to be the name of the game by this point in time. Carapace as well as +2 for the Flyers on the attack and the defensive end. Gonna be a good way to keep these Corruptors up to begin with. Anyway, seems like GeoHen gonna be going over to the top left. Barcode in the meantime pretty happy with his 4 effective bases. But GeoHen is really trying to mine everything out as quick as can be. Potential engage here and now. Lurker gonna be chilling outside like a villain. Gonna get sickened down there. Revelation though from the Oracle. And seems like Barcode just wants to find a way to detect everything. The Oracle is a good way to be active about it. Still hasn't gone into the room. Facility finally gonna do so. Here we go though with the engage. Mothership nowhere to be seen. And these carriers just shooting each other. You're a Parasite, really such a bane for any race to deal with. But still, the numbers in favor of Barcode right now. Carriers able to tank things up. Interceptors not caring, doing the damage that needs to be done on to the ground-based units instead. And in the end, GeoHen unable to deal a fatal blow whatsoever. By this point in time, it seems like GeoHen gonna be going for a different way about this. Assimilation though, just being so successful. Look at that, Parasites just on the hull of the carriers right now. Unfortunately here for GeoHen, they will get spotted by the Revelation. It's time to get the punish on. Carriers moving around the map. Tempest gonna get some artillery strikes as well. Still though here for our 2 players, GeoHen beating it back just a little bit. Barcode in the meantime still staying alive with a good substantial chunk of those units. And now it seems like +2 is in order, maybe +3 even here for our Protoss player. All about engages right now into the middle part of the map. And hey, Sky Toss apparently is how you can keep things up. All about imposing your will against the opposition. When you see those units flying up in the air, you're just gonna have to hope and pray that you can survive basically all the damage it's trying to do. In the meantime, seems like Vipers are in order. Yeah, +2. This is gonna be +3 here. So area is gonna be all maxed out. The next step on the list here for our boy Barcode will be to get those shield upgrades and potentially find a few opportunities to get some drops on. Unfortunately here for Barcode, he is all maxed out. In the meantime, GeoHen at 81 workers actually, so he will have a smaller count in terms of the army. But for Barcode, he really needs these small bits of supply to get that extra carrier, to get that extra Tempest. So it does make sense. He's on the 70 end. Pretty standard though to actually stop at that marker to begin with, as GeoHen is having a lot of minerals in the back, but unfortunate for him, he's using all this gas for a myriad of reasons. There you go, the Viper perfectly abducting that mothership. Instantaneous takedown there, courtesy of the Hydralisk. In the meantime, Tarwar put onto the field. Here we go right now with the Neuro Parasites, trying to get damage that needs to be done. But what are going to be the targets? That's the real question. There's no way to actually spot things out. It seems like, oh no, the server's going to be there actually. And here comes the shots, courtesy of those Tempests. A lot of them, all bunched up. And Mass Tempest, a pretty scary affair. But then you can still close the gap. Damage not being done. Trying to get the obliteration on with those beams. The balls of fury connecting on. Will we finally get the parasitic bomb? That's the real question. Yes, we do! And this has to be Barcode finding which one is it. It does explode up in the air. And GeoHen looking for the punish. Both sides just evenly matched right now. Really just finding small little nuances against each other. And thing about GeoHen and Barcode right now is you can see these clashes are going nowhere. Barcode using all that money and that gas to build more and more of these bigger ships. In the meantime, GeoHen using the gas to find opportunities with those spellcasters, as well as corruptors providing some direct damage. Lovely to have that Terran music though serenading us as we see the two alien factions really vying for position here on Eternal Empire. And here comes more and more of these refueling stations. Barcode looking for a setup, looking for forward expansions. In the meantime, GeoHen doesn't even bother with the hatchery. It's just spore crawls all around protecting these creep tumors to begin with. Observe those set on up. And GeoHen having a hatchery so close to the opposition. Interesting that Barcode has not been able to scout this out as of yet. Anyway, here comes the movement yet again. So spore crawlers numbering into the many. It seems like GeoHen really doing such a good job at microing these, moving these around the map. Anyway, though, it's time for the mop up yet again. We can make sure that these spore crawlers cannot go anywhere close to those bases. For Barcode, it's not the biggest deal that these creep tumors are anywhere on the side of GeoHen. Sure, it does help out, but he does have the range advantage, especially with these Tempests. Just shooting as much balls as possible. Damage being done, corruptors blown up into the airlines. In the meantime, here on the top left, GeoHen still working. He's gonna go for infestors yet again. Carrier's gonna be here and now. And what is the transition by this point? Here in StarCraft, when you are all the way at the highest tier of tech, there is the unfortunate scenario where you feel like you are basically just gonna be building that and that only. And that's what's happening here to Barcode right now. He's building carriers, he's building Tempests. And the thing about this can work very effectively if he finds the openings, but GeoHen is able to respond every single time with the Vipers, with the Infestors, and having enough DPS with the Hydralisk to begin with. Now the real question is when will this all end? For Barcode, he needs to— ooh, there's the Baro to the drones trying to save them. But as I'm trying to say, for Barcode, he's gonna need to find sources of gas. But GeoHen is looking to do the same, both sides. Very dependent on gas right now. They're gonna need a lot of it to keep up with the production of the units that they need in the first place. But anyway, the most forward expansion thing for GeoHen gonna go down. We are 23 minutes in, but it hasn't felt that way. Action really keeping on up, pouring on in the first place. Hydra's though looking to creep on forward. Here we still have Infestors into the field. From what I see, they don't have the energy as of yet, so we're gonna have to wait it out. Hatchery gonna go down. There we go with the clusters of the Interceptors. It's absolutely nostalgic for any Protoss player. And honestly, when you get to a late game scenario like this, it's always so tempting to keep building carriers. Because look at that swarm! Every single one of them doing the damage that needs to be done. It's so beautiful. GeoHen though, if we look to intercept, will it be enough? No, Barcode. Already on point, Overseers just a little too gullible, a little too far forward. And it seems like our Protoss player has decided not to build the mothership anymore. And still keeping up though, mopping up the infestation down below. They're not gonna go planetary glassing, they are just basically making sure that infestation of the Zerg farm is gone from the surface. But maybe, just maybe, they're gonna shoot at the core of the planet and just blow it up anyway. Still the Protoss looking to take command of this game. by basically slowly but surely moving up in terms of those lines. And I like how Barcode is basically mirroring what GeoHen is doing. So for GeoHen, he has to basically creep spread on up, put spore crawlers on to try and add things up for his defensive lines. And for Barcode, he's doing the same. At least he's not needing to build any creep tubers. He can build it anywhere as long as the pylon is there. And basically for Barcode, he's just responding on what GeoHen is trying to do, not letting his opponent creep on up. But in the meantime, there we go with the Interceptors yet again. Hydras on the other hand, doing as much damage as possible and pointing on up. Good assimilations though onto those carriers. And I think the note here for GeoHen, if he can find the carriers with some multiple interceptors, that's gonna be the best way to go about things. Now Recall onto the Tempest, another step is there, and Barcode getting get punished for his hubris. Not the best spot here for our blue Protoss, because these Hydralisks are really hugging the edge of the map. And it really depends on the spots here for Barcode right now. Earlier on, like a spot like this allowed them to advantage for it, allowed them a space to retreat. But by this point in time, it's GeoHen going for the punish, intercepting this Tempest. The slither action from these snakes gonna be able to just be under the Tempest, get that takedown there. In the meantime, Barcode trying to run away with these things, but Corruptors doing damage that needs to be done. Unfortunately though, for these capital ships, these Corruptors are just way too tanky to deal with when they are just gonna be in a duo scenario. So anyway, more hatcheries being built here for GeoHen. He's gonna go try to re-establish those forward bases and take command of those minerals and gas. In the meantime, he is gonna still stay on the low ground. And oh, GeoHen is gonna do it! He's gonna take everything that's left! He wants to make sure that Barcode will have to fight for a next base, will have to commit. And if GeoHen plays his cards right, and he finds exactly where Barcode is gonna go, and he finds the opening, he finds the position, he can actually take this victory. Anyway, by this point in time, it's Barcode floating heavily on those minerals. GeoHen in the meantime still having a lot in the bank as well. But unfortunately for him, he's making no gas whatsoever. Seems like a clash is in order. Carrier gonna get left behind. But the real question here is, what is out of gas for GeoHen? Natural, gone. Third base, gone. Fourth base is destroyed. The aggressive base down below, gone. And this base not getting any gas whatsoever. He needs that gas to make sure that they can keep that spellcasters up. And GeoHen has to make sure that his bases are up and running at the right spots. And this is a time where GeoHen needs to notice that this base still has a lot of gas in its fold. In the meantime, Barcode happy with his income as of the moment, but he's running out of gas. There you go. He'll be shutting on down. So this is basically the only base that Barcode is trying to protect as much as possible. Anyway, GeoHen is really still trying to go for it. Barcode is now set on up. Infestor's gonna be there. And finally, GeoHen realizing that he's making no gas whatsoever. Top left now taken here. North side taken here by GeoHen. It's like, I'll take this base, I'll take this base, I'll take this base, I'll take this base. I want all the bases in the world. As the Tempest gonna be looking to stir up another storm into this one. Trying to get as many hits as possible. Think about the Tempest, very effective of course, if you get the connection onto the Corruptors. And in a multiple number, they're basically becoming all-around units. When they're like 1, 2, or 3, like a handful maybe. They're very good at supporting, they're very good at dealing especially with big units. Pretty good as well as playing the long-range artillery game. When you have as many as this though, when you have 17 of them, they look at one thing and they obliterate it. No matter what it is, it will die. And Tempest right now, not the slowest attacker anymore. The carriers, of course, a good way to honestly add a little bit of damage, a little bit of chaos into this ladder. And here we go right now, GeoHen crawling on forward. He knows that the base is there and the queens might be sacrificed. Seems like GeoHen is happy already with all the creep spread in the world. But he is gonna retreat. The March of the Queens. It's like a documentary of a herd of buffaloes trying to migrate to a better region. But in the end, they get beaten back by a true enemy. Not man. Aliens. ET phone home as the bottom right now gonna take more and more of these gateways actually. And Barcode swapping tech! On to Colossus we go here for our blue side. Interesting way to go about things. Barcode has realized, okay, Sky Toss isn't working. And at the same time, he feels like he's not going to be able to keep up with the gas. So having all these gateways is a good way to use up the minerals. Now, it is a twofold thing. As soon as Barcode loses units, he can go for a warp in for his zealots. If he loses a lot of units, he's going to get a lot of zealots to try and mop up the floor. So for GeoHen right now, does he know it's coming? Does he know that is going to be a lot of structures looking to litter the battlefield? Warp gates right now set on up. Forge going to be there as well. Potentially to double pump those upgrades as much as possible. And here comes Barcode, surprising him. Oh, they're sending Colossus into the field. The Colossi are here and now. But GeoHen doesn't need to do much to adjust. All he needs to do instead, or few of these Hydralisks into Lurkers, to be so effective to keep up consistent damage. Good duck onto one of these Tempests, but no! Oh, second duck! Will the Viper stay alive? Yes, it does. The Tempest does fall. Make some space here for Barcode to rebuild a few more units yet again. Oracle apparently going to be into the field. Two of them, in fact. Tempest right now blowing up everything in his action. There we go with the duck. Second duck on the carrier. And every single time Barcode just turns around and fires those cannons, that is going to be another ship sunk. This is really close actually. This game has not disappointed. Both sides are so evenly matched. Both sides are keeping each other on their toes. And one mistake, one big mistake from either side will really cost them such a big chunk of their resources. GeoHen has to recommit on the gas. Corruptors as well as a potential Viper. Apparently gonna cancel that one out. Overseer gonna be brought in yet again. Here we go though. With more and more drones, GeoHen gonna be droning on up because he has lagged behind in that economy. Because the Zealots go for a surgical strike. Barcode knows that his opponent is just down below. And look at the mop the floor. GeoHen though did get a good number of gas actually from this one extractor. So not the worst for wear there. Barcode right now, he can still keep up with the pressure. GeoHen in the meantime hugging this lower base. And how does it feel to play StarCraft for 30 minutes in a row in one game? The pressure has to be mounting on these two players. It has to be so jittery. When I play ladder, I feel so pressured actually. All I can blame is myself. All I can rely on is myself. And these guys have been putting themselves under this for quite a long time already. I would say that even the proest of the pros might falter from time to time if they do go in for the long haul. But GeoHen and Barcode are trying to keep as stable as possible. Right now, though, GeoHen might have the opening. As here comes the bulk of the army in behind. Damage not being done. And Barcode gonna get caught out of position. Beautiful Parasitic Bomb as well. Tempest taking damage there. In the meantime, the Colossi cooking up the front. Infestors getting assimilation on. But Barcode actually losing a lot in the air. And that is gonna be the Sky Toss shut down. Perfect timing there from GeoHen. Time to go for the mop up yet again. Corruptors cleaning up the skies. And let's watch that one again, ladies and gentlemen. Huge timing there from GeoHen. Noticing exactly that he can go for the pincer attack. But Barcode didn't play it safe whatsoever. Earlier on, he went over here, went around, and took the rocks that GeoHen could not pay on. This time, he went over to the ramp, and GeoHen was like, thank you very much. I can actually find the damage there. Anyway, Barcode gonna be setting on up with the Stalkers yet again. Going to go for the blink. It seems like our Blue Protoss has finally decided to stop with the star shenanigans and move on over. Never mind, I was gonna say he was gonna stop with the Sky Toss, but anyway, more Tempest still into the field. But GeoHen and Barcode both pretty low on that gas. Next fight might be the last because that income isn't gonna get any better anytime soon. Right now though, GeoHen playing it smart, going for basically a long distance mining, making sure that hatchery is gonna come online soon. Meantime, Barcode can really capitalize on the opening here, has so many zealots right now, but he's way too busy all the way onto the top left. Stalkers applying pressure. Tempest destroying that hatchery as well. I feel like Barcode is really missing out on that opportunity. How many zealots is this right now? 24 of them, 2 dozen, can cleave a path of destruction, shut down these two bases. And honestly, this is a big chunk of the income here for GeoHen right now. Like, this base is always under pressure. And here comes the Zealots moving on in. Trying to go for the slice and dice action. Taking care of as many drones as possible. Creep Tumors gonna get caught out as well. And will Barcode be able to actually get into the next phase? Seems like it's not the case because Gia has sent in the Swarm already. Zergling's going for the surround. And look for that +2 as well. Lurker's going to be there as well. And these Zealots really fighting for their lives, but it seems like it's just going to be a noble sacrifice into this one. Now Barcode though taking the opportunity to shut down that base. Gia in the meantime, running out of workers. And now this is a decision here for Gia. He has to make the right call if he wants to get the victory. He's down on workers. He can really go all in with a huge army, but he doesn't have the money to get anything for the Tempest up above. So will it be a base race? Because right now, Barcode is just looking to oppose as well. Zealot's gonna get the charge on in as well. And GeoHen right now looking so wary. The thing about this though, he still has the core units in his composition. Corruptors now moving on forward. Tempest destroying the first of many. But in the meantime, there we go with the Blink Stalkers. They're gonna be blinking on now. Tempest have to retreat behind those four-legged walkers. And in the meantime, Oracle's gonna be there as well. On the other hand, Zealots is cleaving path of destruction. Action on all ends. What an exciting path here. As the Hydras moving on forward, yet again, Stalkers backing on over. Tempest still flying in the skies, and GeoHen now giving chase out of creep. A big thing to note here for Barcode. He has done the surgical strike that he needed to do. He's been able to shut down the gas production there from GeoHen. No money being taken here by the Red Zerg as well. And this is all he's got by this point. He's gonna go for a hatchery yet again. But in the meantime, more of these Zealots looking for the punish. It seems like the initial squad has been wiped out. Barcode still happy about his position. GeoHen now taking damage onto that hatchery. Long distance mining yet again here for our Red Zerg. But Barcode now coming on strong. But hey, he's gonna lose the Tempest! He loses one already. He lost a few of them earlier on. And Barcode cannot afford to lose these flyers. They're costing him a lot of percentage in that gas tab. In the meantime, GeoHen still keeping up. Able to get this round onto the Zealots. GeoHen is literally a step away from getting hanged by his neck. But he is still pleading his case. He's still finding ways to defend. He really can just decide to spend everything and fully commits. But he still wants to have a little bit of reserve. GeoHen is not that type of player to go all in that instance. He wants to make sure that he's still gonna have the opportunity. But with only 12 workers, that's not gonna be anything substantial. Anyway, seems like Barcode is seeing blood in the water. And we're moving on forward yet again. Blink on, just destroy anything here. Lurker's still in position to get some pretty substantial hits. And right now, GeoHen has to make sure that he's in the right line of duty. He needs to make sure that the next clash will be the last one, especially against his opponents. Both sides evenly matched though on that army tab. So that is still GeoHen having a proper number here. But in the meantime, hatchery right now onto the top left. Still not giving up, still not just dying here. Corruption, trying to connect onto the Nexus, blink on forward to pick up one of these Corruptors, and GeoHen cannot afford to lose any of these units. This is looking really dire here for our Red Zerg. As he's gonna try from the high ground, set things up. Lurkers now looking to get the hits onto that assimilator. And the real question is, what is Barcode gonna do? Stalkers right now doing the damage on the anti-air. Zerglings moving on forward. Good blinks on Stalkers out. And here comes more and more of these Zerglings moving on forward. This is looking really dicey here for GeoHen. Will the Parasites be enough? As the Zealots moving on forward onto the Hydras. It seems like GeoHen trying to take the Stalkers down below. But this might be it, ladies and gentlemen. GeoHen gonna bring one of these Tempests now out of position. Queen's waiting to execute this. And there you go. Air now completely gone for Barcode. 60 army to 65. And holy crap, this might be it. This might be the fights to end all these fights in this 39-minute affair. Queen's gonna be basically the front line. Unfortunately for these infestors, there's no such thing as the infested Terran anymore. So we'll see if it's gonna be enough fungal. Might be a good way to go about things. Assimilator gonna get shut down. And with the queens up on that ramp using that higher ground, it's gonna be Barcode moving on forward into that. But still, free hits courtesy of the Lurkers and the Hydralisk. Adding up on that DPS. Barcode did go for a cycle. He's still gonna go for the Oracles as well. Beautiful transfusion though here and now from our boy GeoHen. And the Blinkstalker's trying to get on the way. Immortals right now into the middle, but the Parasites gonna be able to get the catch onto those Bruisers. And now it's time for the Queens to just get crowned on, moving on forward. Revelation right here, right now. But Barcode gonna lose everything, and GeoHen has done it. He takes the victory. He is unable to make anything whatsoever for the past 10 minutes, but he is able to win it out. And I just want to say that was worth the 40 minutes. That was worth my time, and it was absolutely beautiful. Sky Toss defended, ground game defended, GeoHen bringing everything, laying his cards down, but also making sure that he still has a small way to try and produce. He went for that hatchery, could have actually gone for that all in, but it was very, very risky. But with the Queens, proper transfusions, proper Parasites, well played there. To both sides though, it really could have gone either way. There were just mistakes as the game went longer and longer. I feel like the tide really turned in two separate instances. When Barcode destroyed basically the income there for GeoHen, and on the opposite end, when GeoHen got the catch onto the Tempest. With the Tempest gone, GeoHen was happy to play the range game on the ground with that many queens not getting blown up immediately by those big capital ships. Well, he was able to cascade onto the ramp, and this is the result. Well played to our Victor. Well played to our Protoss. And that was an amazing bout to check out.